Tonight on Cronkite News, protests across the country, including right here in Arizona. We'll tell you what they are demanding from the Trump administration.
Plus, President Donald Trump issues an order that would ban transgender athletes from women's sports.
And a report from the WM Phoenix Open. From celebrities to ASU alum, we'll have all the coverage from today's events. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Jacob Seaver.
And I'm Charlie Vicario. Thank you for joining us. From the south to the east and here in the west, communities are traveling to their state capitals to protest President Trump's administration. Caress Melody is at the Arizona Capitol to find out more about the protest.
A movement that started largely on social media called 5051, standing for 50 states, 50 protests, one day, all at the Capitol. So I'm here at Arizona Capitol, where there's approximately 100 participants, where they're protesting everything from mass deportations to abortion rights. And I spoke to a few protesters, and they said that they hope the youth continue to advocate for their rights.
I've got more yesterdays than tomorrows. But you have more tomorrows than yesterdays, and I want to make sure that you have the same opportunities that I've had.
Now, this may sound like deja vu to some viewers if you remember in 2020 when there were mass protests. Here at the Capitol for Cronkite News, I'm Caress Melanie.
Protesters say they will participate in a possible nationwide shutdown on March 15th, asking citizens to not work, travel, or spend money.
The other big story today, President Donald Trump signed an executive order banning transgender female athletes from participating in women's sports. There were more than 60 people in attendance at the signing, including former University of Kentucky swimmer Riley Gaines, who is known for campaigning against the participation of trans women in women's sports. Universities refusing to comply could face consequences.
With this executive order, the war on women's sports is over. We're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding.
The ban will take effect immediately. The White House will also expect organizations like the NCAA to change their rules in accordance with the new ban.
Superintendent of Public Instruction Tom Horn is urging for lawmakers to pass House Bill 2164, which aims to get rid of certain ingredients in school cafeterias across Arizona. If the law passes, certain ingredients such as bromated vegetable oil, which is found in soft drinks and sports drinks. This bill is also proposing a ban on food dyes. If passed, these products would not be allowed to be sold in schools.
The 2025 WM Phoenix Open's first round is just a day away from teeing off after last year's unexpected muddy conditions made national headlines. Cronkite News reporter Mahir Sinhasan is at the Phoenix Open with the latest on what spectators and golfers can expect this year.
Greetings from TPC Scottsdale, where fans are out in full force today for the Annexus Pro-Am as professionals and celebrities take to the course before the WM Phoenix Open first round begins tomorrow. So with that, let's take a look at the weather over the coming days. You may remember last year there was a lot of rain. It was very cold. Fans were slipping and sliding on these hills. It's not going to be the case this year, though, as temperatures are expected to be in the mid to upper 70s. You're going to have at least partly sunny weather during all of those days, and the wind's going to be around 5 miles per hour, so very beneficial for the golfers as well. A little bit coolish in the morning with temperatures currently in the upper 40s around that time. So if you want to get to the gates at around 7 a.m. when it opens, you may have to bring a light coat with you, but be sure to ditch it later on in the day. This is Mahir Sinhasan from TPC Scottsdale. Your entire Cronkite News weather forecast is coming up in a little bit. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mahir. Now golf fans can see a sunnier WM Phoenix Open for just $75 on Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, with prices rising to $125 on Friday and Saturday.
But what can football fans expect to pay for their Super Bowl parties? Alyssa Firestone joined us from the newsroom to tell us these festivities might take a bigger bite of your wallet.
Each year, the National Retail Federation conducts a survey to see how many Americans plan to celebrate the Super Bowl and track consumer spending trends. This year, the report found that more than 200 million adults plan to watch the game on Sunday, with more than 17 million planning to watch at a bar or restaurant, and more than 113 million plan to watch at a party. Total spending is expected to reach a record of $18.6 billion, or around $91 a person. If you're hosting a party, you can expect to spend quite a bit thanks to inflation and the bird flu outbreak. The Consumer Price Index shows eggs are up 37% from a year ago. It costs an average $6 a dozen. Something to keep in mind if you're planning on making your famous deviled eggs this year. If you're looking to have some dip with your chips, guacamole might cost you more as well. One estimate has avocado prices up 11% from last year. Beyond food, consumers are also spending money on clothes, decorations, and even some on TV and furnitures. No matter what you're doing, who you're rooting for this year, we hope you have a great game that hopefully doesn't break your bank. At the Google touchscreen, Alyssa Firestone, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Alyssa. We'll have more on some of the most popular Super Bowl prop bets shortly.
Coming up next, an Arizona organization that helps prepare people for real-world emergencies.
And empowering women to take safety into their own hands.
A lot of women feel vulnerable, you know, so it's just, I'm hoping to give them that power, you know, the knowledge, because I always say, you know, knowledge is power.
When we come back, find out how the Arizona organization is teaching them personal safety.
Plus, we'll have your Super Bowl forecast after the break.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. Women make up 50% of the population here in Arizona, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and one issue important to many of those women, personal safety.
As Cronkite News reporter Leah Phillips tells us, there are several classes women can take to give them a sense of empowerment.
We're not talking about your everyday classroom here. Personal safety courses are teaching women to stay aware and stay protected. I spoke with some of the women who are choosing to further that education.
It's important because I'm important. I need to be safe.
That is just one of the many reasons women are taking courses to take their safety into their own hands.
I need to be protecting myself. So taking these courses gives me that ability to feel safe, to feel strong, to feel confident.
That confidence could be life-saving. According to 2024 data from the Arizona Department of Safety, 48% of violent crime victims were female.
We're not being paranoid, we're being prepared.
And it's women like Melinda Malone who make knowing what to do in a dangerous situation a possibility.
A lot of women feel vulnerable, you know, so it's just, I'm hoping to give them that power, you know, the knowledge, because I always say, you know, knowledge is power.
After 15 years serving in law enforcement and obtaining numerous training certifications, she's made it her mission to open a facility where she can share that knowledge, empowering women to feel secure.
I want to give back. I want to make a difference. I've always wanted to make a difference and to help people.
And the impact is evident, creating a ripple effect and inspiring students to share what they've learned with others.
Through these courses, I also have trained my employees and provided my employees with the safety devices, the personal alarm systems that Melinda gave me in the class that I took.
The coalition encourages everyone to be proactive, whether it's learning first aid, pet safety, or concealed carry training. Class doesn't stop when you walk out the doors. Having a plan and practicing it is key.
You've got to get to the point where you don't think about what to do, it just happens. No matter what it is, you need to react quickly because, it could be the matter of life and death.
In Phoenix, Leah Phillips, Cronkite News. And it's not just about creating a planned reaction. Learning what to do before and after a possible threat is a part of keeping both you and your loved ones safe. In the newsroom, I'm Leah Phillips for Cronkite News.
Thanks, Leah. Turning now to the weather. According to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, the valley broke a 100-year-old record with a high of 86 degrees on Tuesday.
And will this heat streak continue? Isaiah Soto joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect.
That is correct. We're experiencing record-breaking temperatures here in the valley, but will this heat trend continue? Let's take a close look at tonight's weather and what we can expect the next few days. As for this evening, things will be cooling down to the mid-60s with calm and clear skies. Now, as we get into tomorrow, low temperatures here in the southern region will remain around the 50s, 51 in Phoenix, 49 in Gila Bend, 43 in Casa Grande. Now, as we get into the high countries, still above the historic average, 29 in Flagstaff, 26 in Window Rock. Now, let's take a close look at our high temperatures. Still a warm state tomorrow, 81 in Phoenix, 81 in Casa Grande, 80 in Tombstone. As for the high country, things are also a bit more warm than they usually are, 55 in Flagstaff, 64 in Window Rock. Now we're taking a close look at a system that's in the Northwest Pacific. It looks like it will not be coming into our state and giving us any rain. But let's take a close look at our 8-day forecast. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, things will remain around 80 with clouds rolling into Super Bowl Sunday, 78. And for the rest of the week, 71 with, of course, a chance of clouds. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited for Super Bowl Sunday as I can go outside and, grill up some burgers. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Isaiah Soto.
Coming up next, the Puppy Bowl will be featured alongside the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
Meet the local Phoenix puppy who will be traveling to New Orleans to compete in the prized event. See how the puppy is training to possibly bring home the championship and win the heart of every dog lover in Phoenix.
Hi everybody, I'm Ben Paris here at the WM Phoenix Open. Coming up on the Cronkite Sports Report, we have highlights from the Annexus Celebrity Pro-Am. We'll get you ready for the Super Bowl with both bets and pets. Plus, we'll check in with Valley Basketball. All that's coming up on the Cronkite Sports Report.
I grew up in a small border town, and water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report from TPC Scottsdale and the WM Phoenix Open. I'm Ben Paris. Some of the greatest stars from around the world of sports and entertainment had their chance to take a swing at the greatest show on grass today, as they're paired with some of the PGA Tour's best players for the 2025 WM Phoenix Open, a Nexus Pro-Am. It was the Arizona Diamondbacks that traded in their bats for clubs, and while their swings may have looked just a little bit different, they still had that good old competitive nature.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is an event I come to every year, and feels a little different this year being part of the D-backs versus another team. But it's always a fun week, so excited here.
I think it's always a lot of fun when you get to the point where you see your guys out here. We got 3 pitchers. We got a lot of good times, a lot of good stories to talk about post outing. We'll compare notes. We'll be a lot of fun.
I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see what he's got. We'll see. I don't know. We're going to have a good time, though. I know that much. We'll have a good time. Yeah.
Now, some football stars joined the Diamondbacks on the course today, including Arizona Cardinals legend Larry Fitzgerald and the New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The 23-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps was in the celebrity field again this year and enjoyed the sunny weather that he faced this year compared to the cold, wet ones that he had last year.
Obviously, when you get to see sun, it's always nice to play. Last year we had hail that got, stopped our tournament 5 holes in, so that kind of stunk. But yeah, this week I think it's mid-70s pretty much the whole week. So good time. Waste week is always fun. The community's awesome, and being able to see these players up close, watch what they do is always a treat.
Now, another familiar Arizona face is getting ready to tee it up in the 2025 WM Phoenix Open, as Arizona State's Jose Le Ballester is set to make his PGA Tour debut after earning 1 of 5 sponsors exemptions into the tournament. The Sun Devil Senior is coming into the tournament with plenty of success, having captured the 2024 U.S. Amateur Championship at Hazeltine National Golf Club in Chaska, Minnesota, a month before winning collegiately for the first time at the Fighting Illini Invitational at Olympia Fields. The 21-year-old is confident that he'll be able to contend at a course he's quite familiar with.
I feel like it kind of gave me the confidence that I needed to maybe feel like I belong in this group, and now I know that I compete among the best players in the world.
The number 2 ranked player in the PGA Tour University ranking will begin play on Thursday at 1:50 p.m. and try to hold his own against a very strong field throughout the weekend. As we move now from the Phoenix Open to the Super Bowl, there's all sorts of athletes getting ready to suit up for the big game, coming in different shapes and sizes. Our Grace Johnson has the story of a 4-legged friend getting ready to compete in this year's Puppy Bowl.
Meet Felicity, a 45-pound Doberman who's still learning her commands. The 6-month-old pup from Phoenix doesn't have much time to learn her new tricks, however, as she's making her national TV debut for Team Fluff in the 21st Puppy Bowl.
We heard back that Felicity was one of the finalists. We couldn't have been more ecstatic on a national level to be able to represent what a wonderful breed Dobermans are.
Felicity is one of 4 Dobermans from Arizona headed to the Puppy Bowl. The playful pup has been in foster care with the Desert Harbor Doberman Rescue Foundation. Along with a very rough training schedule, Felicity also has to make sure she looks her best for the big game.
Every good girl needs a good makeup crew, so she got primped a little bit, made sure that her little toenails were ready for the course, and made sure that her coat was shiny, and gave her a bath right before, so she will be not only athletic and beautiful like Dobermans are, but she will represent the happy girl that she is.
Felicity will be looking to take home the Puppy Bowl title and possibly MVP title. The real MVPs are people who at home can adopt cute and adorable puppies like Felicity here after watching the Puppy Bowl.
Felicity, however, had to overcome a lot of adversity before she could learn how to score a touchdown.
The litter really, she's come from what's called a miracle litter. And so they're just little miracles. It was very challenging, but you would never know that they ever encountered any challenge in their first couple of weeks of life. And I think that makes us so proud that, even the most challenging puppies, whatever they're exposed to, with just a lot of love and care, can really overcome anything and thrive as very healthy dogs.
Felicity, along with 142 other rescue puppies, kickoff is set to air on Super Bowl Sunday before the big game, so be sure to look out for Felicity's touchdown celebration. Touchdown! Touchdown! In Phoenix, Grace Johnson, Cronkite News.
Now, best of luck to Felicity and the rest of Team Fluff this weekend. I sure hope she takes home that coveted Most Valuable Pup title. As we move now from Super Bowl pets to our Super Bowl bets, the big game is consistently one of the most bet-on games in the U.S. year in and year out. Our sports reporter Brady Poplar has his parlays for the big game.
With the big game coming up on Sunday, I picked out 3 prop bets for a 3-leg parlay with odds of plus 236. If you were to bet $10, you would win 33. Leg number 1, Jalen Hurts, 200-plus passing yards. Hurts has hit this total in 9 of the 17 full games he's played this season. Leg number 2, Devontae Smith, 40-plus receiving yards. Smith has hit this total in 5 of his last 6 games. Now, finally, leg number 3, Xavier Worthy, 50-plus receiving yards. Worthy has hit this total in 5 of his last 9 games. So, if you want a potentially profitable way to watch the big game, keep these plays in mind. With winners, I'm Brady Poplar, Cronkite Sports.
Checking in with Valley Hoops now, it's the Phoenix Mercury that are trying to upgrade their roster after losing their star Brittany Griner in free agency. Our Cronkite Sports reporter Quentin Presley has the latest on their new acquisitions.
General Manager Nick Uren welcomed former Dallas Wing and 2-time All-Star forward Satu Sabali to the franchise. The 2-time All-Star looks to add to the team's new versatile identity. Also in the trade, the Mercury brought over Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun and veteran center Kalani Brown from Dallas Wings.
The word that people probably are tired of hearing me saying is versatile. I think this is a versatile team. We can play up, we can play down, we can play slow, we can play fast. Should be able to defend, we should be able to score points. And so I would come back to the word versatility is something I think we'll be able to embody.
Heading into her 6th season with 3 playoff wins under her belt, the all-around forward is ecstatic to get back to playing meaningful basketball. Even in a new environment, Sabali's priorities are still set on a championship.
With the right pieces around you, anything is possible. And I mean, the goal is to bring a championship. Whether if it's 1 or 2 or 3, you know, we never know. But I definitely want to give everything I can, and that is the right thing.
The Phoenix Mercury have been gearing up for a new era here at Valley. With Brittany Griner now gone and Diana Taurasi's decision still in the air, with this transaction, the Mercury have set themselves up for a hot start come May 2025. In Phoenix, Quentin Presley, Cronkite News.
The Arizona State men's basketball team suffered another frustrating loss at home last night, this time by a final score of 71-70 at the hands of the Kansas State Wildcats. It was a game that Arizona State had jumped out to an 18-2 lead, but by the time halftime came around, Kansas State had come all the way back and had a lead in the basketball game. ASU had a chance to win it at the end. Jaden Quaintance had 2 free throws, 2 to win the game, 1 to just tie and send it to overtime, but he went 0 for 2 at the line. Arizona State head coach Bobby Hurley is struggling to find answers.
I'm searching. We all are searching. Again, we're right there. You know, we're knocking on the door in all these games, and we just can't figure out a way to get over the top. So it's I'll have to really think hard about that. I've tried to do the best job I can with this team, and I'm not getting through to them enough, and it's.
Arizona State falls to 3-8 in conference play. They'll head on the road to Oklahoma State on Saturday, who has the same record in Stillwater. That'll do it for the Cronkite Sports Report here at TPC Scottsdale. I'm Ben Paris, sending it back to the studio to Jacob and Charlie.
Thanks, Ben. Coming up next, the Super Bowl is the single biggest betting event of the year.
And in Iowa Zoo, their animals have had a surprisingly high accuracy rate of choosing the winning team. This includes last year's game when a 15-pound tiger shovel-nosed catfish correctly predicted the Kansas City Chiefs winning their 4th Super Bowl. This year, a Siberian tiger was put up to the task. Find out who she chose after the break.
I grew up in a small border town, and water was really important to us. Without enough water, we can't farm, we can't eat, we can't live. And the way we're doing it right now, straight up doesn't have a future. I went to ASU because this is a place where you solve problems. With vertical farming, we can grow the same amount of food with 95% less water than traditional farming. The work I'm doing at ASU is changing the way I look at the world.
The scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology and renowned award-winning faculty. Professors who help you to impact the world. Whether you're on campus or at home, becoming your best starts with learning from the best.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Welcome back. Super Bowl predictions are well underway with just 4 more days left until the big game.
For the past 14 years, animals at Iowa Blank Park Zoo have been making their own Super Bowl predictions. This year, the zoo chose a 13-year-old Siberian tiger named Misha to kick off their prediction. And according to Misha, the Kansas City Chiefs will be taking home that trophy once more. The Blank Park Zoo animals have correctly predicted 11 of the past 14 Super Bowl winners.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Jacob Seaver.
And I'm Charlie Vicario. Thank you for joining us. Yes.